keeping it Eagles-centric here. So what are you most looking forward to tonight? Obviously, game 2 here. It is preseason, but there are things to kind of look forward to. The options today is more from the new running back room. A lot of new backs. If anyone hasn't watched the Undisrupted, I think it is, or Undisputed, it's a little docu-series that they have on the Eagles YouTube channel for inside training camp stuff. They had one on the running back. So a lot of talk about the running backs right now. Yeah. Are you interested in the young D-line domination? They looked good last week against the Ravens. Are you looking forward to that? And then 2 battles, the cornerback battle and the linebacker battle. So right now in first place is the young defensive line domination. They are leading the way with 55.6% of the votes. Second place is the running back room with 22.2%. And tied for third is the cornerback and linebacker battles here. This is on my on my Twitter account, @ParceroPhilly. You guys can participate, but we'll definitely talk about that here. So let's get into it. Obviously, Scotty, we have preseason game number 2. First one was a loss against the Ravens, but you saw some promising things. Jalen Carter really stood out. Penny and Swift also stood out as well. So I guess for you, man, a lot of camp battles, especially on the defensive side of the football. What has been intriguing you the most, man?
Yeah, that's an interesting post that you had there, a poll, I guess I would say. I think it's interesting, the defensive line dominance part that people want to see and that people are excited to see. And mind you, I voted on the poll and I actually selected that one as well. But I was looking at it again when you had it up there, and I kind of changed my mind because the defensive line, while it'll be fun to see that if they dominate tonight again, right, and getting ready for the regular season, but we kind of know who are going to be the guys there on the defensive line, right? Like, there's nobody that we're really looking to for any surprises. I mean, of course, we're excited to see Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith play, but these are young guys that were drafted in the first round. These are guys that we expect to be part of the rotation. So these aren't really guys on the bubble for me. So I'm going to switch my attention. I think what I'm really going to focus on tonight, honestly, is that DB room, man. The cornerbacks specifically are very interesting because you got so much talent there this year, all the way down to Eli Ricks. Josh Jobe has been getting a lot of talk. Zach McPherson, right? He's our special teams guy, and he's a backup for Avonte Maddox in the slot. So there's a lot of different options. Mekhi Garner, he showed some stuff in the last preseason game. So they actually have a plethora of options there. I don't know if they keep 7. Do they keep 6 only in the DB room, right, when it comes to cornerbacks? Greedy Williams is a guy that I'm looking at tonight as well. Is he on the bubble with a guy like Eli Ricks gets a pick 6 in the first preseason game? Josh Jobe has been a guy that's been talked about all training camp. So Greedy Williams seems to look like a guy that's kind of out of the shuffle. So I'm looking there. The linebacking situation that you mentioned, that's interesting because you brought in the 2 new faces in Zach Cunningham and Miles Jack. And it seems like those guys are getting a lot of the reps that we're hearing about. They're making a lot of the disruptions that you like to hear from the linebacking core. So do they keep – how many linebackers do they keep when you include guys like Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith in that conversation? So interested in those position battles, man. And I'm really looking at that defensive side of the ball altogether, right? Sidney Brown in the safety. He's an exciting guy that's been talking a lot of stuff that I like as well, man. So my eyes are all over the place. You can even go to the offense, of course, wide receivers, running backs down the line. But those are on the defensive side of the ball is where I'm looking today, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And real quick, on the Hassan Reddick stuff, obviously we got the news today, getting surgery on that thumb. He should be ready by week 1, but that's obviously good news. So you're probably not going to see him for the rest of training camp. And of course, Reddick, we've all heard the contract talks, whether he should be getting more money or not. We still got plenty of time on that deal, but obviously this year, Reddick looking to capitalize on his monster first year with the Birds. Yeah. You really brought up some good points. I also forgot to mention the safeties in that poll because the safeties to me intrigues me. I feel like the most out of all the positions, simply because I really, really just don't have a pulse on what the 2 starters will be. And you do have it's honestly up for grabs right now who the 2 starting safeties will be. And so I think to me that'll be the fun position that I'm going to be looking forward to. But that competition at the cornerback position, obviously Slay and Bradbury are set in stone, and Maddox too, right?
Yeah.
But after that, that's really where it does get interesting. And And tonight we'll be able to see Josh Jobe look really good as
Yeah,
well. I think he got 2 picks yesterday in practice.
yeah,
So, I mean, this defense in general, there's a lot of question marks, but I think that the ceiling for this defense can be pretty high because of just the young, impactful players that you have here. And I think that's why people were voting for the
yeah,
defensive line domination when they're seeing Jordan Davis and what he's doing. And when they see Jalen Carter drop to us,
yeah.
and he's already dominating right now on top of Hassan Reddick and BG and Sweat and all that stuff. So I think like right now, the excitement for defense, there's like an unknown factor about it, but because of what you see, I think people are really excited about it, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and I get the excitement from the defensive line, because you can even go to guys like Derek Barnett, who you get back this year, right? See what he has left in the tank. Josh Sweat in another year, so you got guys on the defensive line. Milton Williams, a guy that's been really
Dude,
highly
slept on,
praised.
man.
Yeah, he's very slept on. I agree with that statement, man, and I think he's going to make. When you look at the new guys in the system, Milton Williams isn't a new guy, but I think he can really solidify his name in this unit this season. Mind
Yeah,
you got great guys in front of him. There's no lack of talent in that department, but I think Milton Williams is a guy that will show that he is up there with those guys, right? Like he's not a guy to be forgotten about on this defensive line. So looking at that position as well, yeah, it's all exciting all around, right? Because you mentioned it, there are question marks, but they're filled with young talent, and I think that's a nice balance to have with the offense. Which the offense is going to be explosive,
yeah,
pretty much no matter what, barring injury, right? Regardless of the guys that are on the bubble at the end of those skill position that are battling it out tonight. But yeah, that defensive side of the ball, they're a question mark, but it's an exciting question mark.
and I think this seems like set up perfectly because I feel like there are going to be times this year because of the youth of this defense where you may find yourself in a couple shootouts,
Yeah,
and I mean we all trust this offense to survive those type of shootouts. So for
exactly.
now, like I think we're all okay with going through those growing pains because you know that the future is bright and that the talent on this defense is good. And Sean Desai as well. We talked about it on the show. Like Sean to me seems like a guy who's just not scared to try something new.
Yeah,
Where we would kill JG because of that. I think that
right.
that is where Sean may succeed past Jonathan Gannon, but it's
Yeah,
it's gonna be
see
it's
what
gonna be
you
fun
got in
watching
these
defense,
guys.
man. Dude, how about Deshaun Watson finally he getting introduced to Elliott Short Parks, man? Did you see that?
No, I did not see that, man. That's actually hilarious
So
after
I
their
have
interaction yesterday.
I had it here. So I mean, for anyone who follows Elliott Short Parks, his big thing and what he likes to do is he likes to tweet out the stats at practices for every player. For every player, it's
Yeah,
not just the
yeah,
birds. He'll always like tweet out stuff that the other team will do as well. And I thought I had it here. There was one tweet here where he puts out Deshaun Watson stats. And by the way, I know we're all like all in on the Eagles here in Philly, but like right now in Cleveland, like the clock is kind of ticking on Deshaun Watson here. They did give up a lot for
yeah,
Deshaun Watson. And so okay, I think this is it actually.
yeah, right there.
Yeah, there we go. So Deshaun Watson training camp stats versus the Eagles. Eagles defense definitely got the better of Watson during the joint practices. Watson had a few really nice throws at the times, beating good coverage with better throws. His arm definitely has the ability to make special throws. The pass rush definitely got the better of Watson, as he really was only effective in 7v7, not 11v11. The Eagles' pressure forced Watson to some bad decisions. In 2 days, they ended up picking him off as many as many times they allowed interceptions. Stats on day 2, 7 for 16, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Overall in 2 days, 17 for 33, 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I don't know if I'll find it here. I don't know if he deleted it because it would. I feel like here it is. Is
Yeah,
Deshaun
Cap.
Watson actually he actually tweeted out LOL and cap, man. I mean, I find it interesting only because like when you talk to Deshaun Watson now, like it's kind of like an asterisk, right? Like
Yeah,
he's really special, but there was that incident that he had, right? And so
yeah,
it's kind of like the topic conversation is going to keep coming up. And this team has a lot of pressure on it because of what they gave up, and they're not
yeah,
that far removed from winning, the first playoff game since returning back to Cleveland. And so the pressure's high. You hear Dorian Thompson looking much better than the Deshaun Watson, a 5th round pick, dude. I mean, this is pretty hilarious, guy.
It
That's
is,
wild.
man. It is hilarious from our standpoint, which there was a lot of people in our fan base that were clamoring for the Eagles to trade for
Yo,
Deshaun
for real.
Watson, even with all the all the legality type of stuff that he was dealing with. Now, mind you, whatever you think of the results of his investigation, mind you, they ended up not arresting him. They ended up not, doing anything further to him. So it's interesting. He's going to always have an asterisk by his name. There's going to be people that just dislike him because of what his name is attached to, and I think that's more than fair. I actually fall into that crowd just based on my respect for women. But all that aside, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long of a leash Deshaun Watson gets because they invested a lot into him. So does that get him a longer leash, even with all the backstory that comes along with him? Because if Deshaun Watson starts out this season poorly and the Browns are, 1-4, 0-5, or 1-5, whatever the case may be, 6 weeks, 7 weeks into the season, it's going to heat up a lot on Deshaun Watson. And anytime it heats up on him now, that stuff is going to be rehashed and re-brought up. And rightfully so, because it's going to follow him for the rest of his career. So he's going to be walking on eggshells when it comes to his performance. And mind you, he was you look at his stats back in 2021, I believe it was, and he was a top 5, top 6 quarterback in the NFL. So the talent is there. You just have to wonder how all the off the field stuff has affected not only his body physically, but his mind, right? Keeping his mind focused on football. That has to be hard for a guy that is going to get, he's going to get made fun of. There's going to be a lot of wild chants that are going to be screamed at him in stadiums. And it's not just going to go away. So it is interesting when you look at this. You look at Elliot Shore-Parks' tweets regarding the stats. It is interesting thinking about it and what Deshaun Watson, what does that look like this year, man? Because they're relying on him a lot.
It's fun because I was one of the people who said that I'm not touching Deshaun Watson because of what you just said.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be the leader of our franchise.
Yeah.
I didn't want Russell Wilson just because I didn't want to give up the package, and Russ was coming off a bad year. And look how, I mean, still plenty of time, but look how that first year came out to be. And in that first year for Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts has an MVP type season, and you're seeing what's going on here, man. So it's everything happens for a reason. I always say that you didn't go out for Deshaun Watson for a reason, and things are panning out. And Jalen is now being talked about, depending who you talk to, right? But there's top 5, top 3 conversations for Jalen Hurts, and sky's just the limit. Sign a Jordan, dude. Sign a Jordan deal, dude. I love that.
Yeah, man. I love that for the face of the city, man. I love that. I love that. Dude. It's just it's just Jordan brand, it's a legendary brand. Now there's people that have their disputes with Nike as a whole, but Nike is my favorite brand, right? When it comes to sneakers, merchandise, anytime Nike makes the merchandise, I feel like it's usually better than the other brands, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes of that. If he gets any type of like clothing line with Jordan, if he gets his own cleats, right, or his own sneakers, even maybe it's his own style of a Jordan 1 classic type of sneaker. I'll be excited and I will purchase it if it's feasible. So that is awesome, man. He's a true superstar, right? Like he has like the branding that goes along with it, where you look back to Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz just never really got all the brand deals, right? He wasn't a very good speaker, really, when it came to the public and media. So
gonna get that John Deere deal,
man. Breed, man. It's honestly a blessing.
Carson Wentz couldn't get that John Deere deal going, man.
He could have made some money with them, man. Some type of hunting brand or something, man. But he was faking on it. I don't know. Never came to fruition.
It's just wild because I feel like Carson did go through some type of adversity, like especially North Dakota State. Like he went through all those injuries, but I don't know. Once you get a taste of the millions, you're the face of the city. They love you everywhere. And you get a little bit comfortable about that. But Jalen keeps even keel. Like he doesn't forget about all those moments. He doesn't forget about the moments at Alabama. He doesn't forget about that first year in Philadelphia. He always keeps that chip on his shoulder. He always just keeps motivated, and that's just the beauty of him. That's why I always just felt like if he could just get down the accuracy, can read the field a little bit quicker, the sky's the limit for Jalen Hurts, and he's put in the work, and he's going to keep evolving this year too, man.
Yeah, I do think there's room for him to evolve, right? There's always talk about what being a mobile quarterback means for their health long
Right.
term. And we've seen it with Lamar Jackson even the last few years. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. And so to that point, it's fun when your quarterback can ram into the pile and get into the end zone 13 times on the year, but you don't necessarily want to do that as his career progresses. You don't want to rely on that, even though the analytics may point to it. I do think they're going to rely a little bit less on him when it comes to in between the tackles and
Yeah.
getting him hit on the outside, those type of situations. So
Gotta
just
keep him
seeing him
healthy.
evolve and become more of a – he has all the weapons in the world, man. So when it comes to that, it's like it's nice having that option, and I think you need to do it enough to keep the defense accountable for it. But I just don't think you need to do it as much as you did last year. And hopefully it works out with the offense if they do decide to go that route.
Yeah, man. You saw the rush attempts in 21 was decreased in 22, man. So
Yeah,
from that time period. So
very fair. Yeah, it's true.
it's obviously a weapon, and we want to keep it like that. But yeah, if we can limit the runs and the hits, that's going to be the goal here. Where are you gonna watch the game tonight, man?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna hit the gym after we get off of here. So get my fitness right, get my juices going right
Yes,
for the
sir.
game. We're gonna go grab some alcohol after we leave the gym and enjoy the game right here at the crib. I'm excited, man. I got my Kelly Green jersey, and I was like, man, do I break it out for the preseason? I'm not gonna do it yet. I'm not gonna do it yet. I'm gonna wait for the season opener to bring that one out. But I'm gonna throw a jersey on. I haven't decided which one yet. Maybe one of the classic ones.
Who'd you get?
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, I got Hassan Reddick.
Hey,
yeah, Camden's very own. Wanted to
let's
get a guy
go.
that I feel like's gonna be here. I feel like he should be the face of our defense right now. He's the best defensive player in my opinion. And he's a local guy. You got to support the local guys, man, when they make a return like he did last year. So I looked at it as a great opportunity to get a Reddick jersey and represent the edge rushers, man. I feel like I don't have a ton of edge rusher jerseys.
Yeah, for myself, I always try to get now. If we have a franchise quarterback, that changes everything. But my closet, I have a bunch of tight ends, defensive ends. I only got one lineman jersey. That's because I just started getting into it, and Lane Johnson was the best purchase I've ever gotten.
Oh, nice! You got a Lane jersey.
Oh, dude,
like
I had to get that.
like
BG's the goal this year. I don't have a BG jersey.
I like that. Yeah,
but that's the goal.
I need
this
a
year.
BG, man.
Have to, man. It's legend, Eagles legend, man.
Is that who you're thinking for the Kelly Green?
Probably get the Kelly Green.
That's a good one.
Only player to wear Kelly Green twice in the last 10 years for the Eagles.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. An original bird, too, man. Yeah, I like that. I need a BG jersey myself.
You got a Goddard, right?
I do have a Goddard. I thought about getting Goddard, but you just never know. And he has been injured over the last few years. So I didn't want to double invest in a Goddard jersey, even though he is one of my favorite players on the team. But I got the midnight green Goddard, midnight green Smitty. And then I got a white Hurts. So that's what I'm working with on the current roster. Hassan Reddick.
That's nice, man.
Yeah. So I got some coverage there, man.
So how big of a fan are you of the Kelly Green? Do you feel like this should be like the permanent look for a little bit, or should we stick with what we have right now in the midnight?
It's a tough question, man. Because I'm not one of those people that opposes the Kelly Green. I actually love the Kelly Green. I've been one of the people that's been on Twitter or X, claiming that the Kelly Green is one of the more matchable colors, right, compared to midnight green, in my opinion, when it comes to like sneakers, clothing, different types of stuff like that. So that's why I do like the Kelly Green, and it's just classic, right? It gives you the old school vibes. It's a little bit more simple than the midnight green, I feel. But I like having both. I like having both as an option. I think midnight green is where we've had more of our success, and it's definitely my era of Philadelphia Eagles football. So I don't want to see like that. Midnight green is a very unique color. And when you look at the Kelly Green, some of the Jets uniforms you could say look very similar to the Kelly Green. And so to that point, I like having the variability with the midnight green, having that as an option. I like the black as well. I would like to just keep Kelly Green as like an alternate. I think it's a good option to have there 2 to 3, maybe even 4 times a year.
I agree with you, man. Tiffany, what's up, Tiffany? First off, I hope you're having a great day. Says no to midnight green, so we want the Kelly Green full time.
Yeah, per se, that's my mom. If you didn't know.
Hey, what's up, Mom? How you doing? What's going on? I need to formally meet you. But
Yeah,
yes,
she's a midnight green girl though.
I get it. I get it. I completely get it. I think I'm with you on the midnight green. Simply because of what the success we've had with it. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. Also, you know what I do? I what I love the most, believe it or not, about the midnight green is the font. The font, that's my
Yeah,
favorite, and
I
I don't
feel
want to
you.
get rid of that.
I
So
feel you.
that's
Which
what
logo do you like more? Like the spread wings, or do you like just the eagle head?
that one's tough. I'm probably gonna have to go with the head because it
Yeah.
looks tough, man. This does look
Yeah.
nice. Like, don't get me wrong, this does look nice.
Yeah.